Which brings us to our next subject, the Area 51 storming.
It's so stupid.
I want to tell you fucking nerds something first off. You're going to have to trek through a lot of desert to get there because there's roadblocks and shit where you just ain't going to be able to get it that close. So that's going to get rid of a big chunk of you. But here's the thing, though. You're doing it on the...
That desert's going to kill your asthma.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's a dryer
It would
heat.
actually help it.
Yeah, it would help.
It would help me.
So maybe that makes them a little bit stronger and they do make it through.
But I just want, like, so there's 300,000 that signed that they're going to storm the Area 51.
Oh, I thought it got up to 400, over 400.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want is 400,000 MPs there to give out wedgies, you fucking nerds, because you ain't getting in that goddamn base.
No.
They'll cut the feed. Whatever equipment you have to film yourself being killed, they'll just jam that signal. You will not be... your death will not be recorded.
They're like, they can't stop us all. And I'm here to say they absolutely can stop you all. It's the military.
Yeah, it is a Cold War base. It was designed to keep the Russians out. Your little skinny ass ain't getting in that base.
Ain't happening.
And like I was telling someone else about this, is it's based on it is a Cold War base. Look, I used to love all that shit. I listened to Art Bell, Coast to Coast. I loved all that paranormal shit.
Oh yeah.
And I still do. I can suspend disbelief and listen to it like like I would pro wrestling. I can enjoy it for what it is, but the reality is there's no aliens. There's no fucking way there's aliens. They tested the reason they were so secretive, it's where they tested aircraft during the Cold War. There probably isn't even that much staff there anymore. They probably left a lot of it left in probably in the 90s.
Probably, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying there's no one there. I mean, we have a base here that's not as active as it used to be, but it's still active. There's people there,
yeah,
but it's not what it was.
No, not at all.
And it's where they tested the stealth bomber and the stealth fighter. That's the main purpose of that base. And
listen, we talked about we've talked about him before, and I finally watched the special, that Bob Lazar guy. I don't think Bob Lazar is lying about some of the technology and stuff there. It's top secret technology. I actually kind of believe a lot of, I don't know about some of the propulsion systems and the Element 115 or whatever the hell it is he talks about, all this other stuff. There's probably shit there that we've never seen before, and we'll probably never see. I don't deny that. But there isn't aliens there. There's no aliens there.
No.
They did not recover a bunch of... Because when I first watched it, I thought he said that they had 9 saucers that we built. It was 9. Then I rewatched it, and it was like 9 that we got, that we found. He doesn't know where they came from, but they were alien spacecrafts, and that's what we reverse engineered from to try to make some of this technology. There's no way we recovered 9 different alien ships.
So these guys traveled through wormholes at speeds that make light speed look like a fucking street sweeper, because that's the only way they could ever get here.
Yeah.
But they just can't steer through the mountains. Oh shit, we're crashing!
It gets pretty hazy and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, we got all this technology, but man, your mountains are real tough.
What if they didn't count on our atmosphere being, some of the air, our oxygen and stuff? They weren't counting on that, and that's poisonous to them.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
I don't know.
But the thing is, because I was telling you, I listened to a lot of Coast to Coast and all that stuff over the years.
Yeah.
And I listened to Art Bell interview with Bob Lazar, and I forgot the writer's name. It's a guy that wrote one of his books or several of his books.
I don't know who that guy was. I only know the current one. And
Bob Lazar kept forgetting shit and had to revert and ask his writer, well, what did I say? So you don't know what happened in your own life, but a guy that wrote the book for you, he remembers everything because Bob has a quote-unquote bad memory.
Which is weird because now...
Oh, yeah, you got a genius IQ, and he does. He is a legit engineer. He has credentials.
Yeah.
He has credentials. He's an engineer. Bob Lazar is not a dumbass. But he's fucking lying. That's why I can't remember shit. You're a liar, Bob.
And there is weird stuff in the story, stuff that not just from him, but from talking about his credentials. He claimed to have worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory, where they did all the atomic bomb stuff, and they developed it back in the 40s, and it's still one of the top laboratories in the country. He claimed to work there, and when the original story broke in 1989 about him, he was the guy that was blowing the lid off of Area 51, and they called him Dennis at that point. That was his code name.
I remember that.
Yep. He claimed to work these places, and when they called and tried to get verification that he worked at these places, they're like, "No, we don't have any. We never had any employees named this." And they're like, "Oh, here we go. This guy's lying." But then they found an old directory, like they call it a phone book. It's basically everybody's extensions at the laboratory, and he was in there, but no one there could remember him. But he's somehow in this directory. So I don't know if they just couldn't find his record, or somebody had tried to make it look like he was lying. So I don't know how credentialed he is, because a lot of it, he says he went to MIT too, but they're like, "Oh, we don't have any record of him."
I can't remember the whole debunking point by point or any points of it at all. But there's a guy that runs a YouTube channel called Dank Net. D-A-N-K. D-A-N-K. I'm not drunk or anything. Dank Net.
Kevin.
But he I totally deserve that.
That's okay. I'm sorry.
No, I do. I deserve. But he he has a whole video about Lazar, and it's like the longest video I've ever seen this guy do.
Yeah.
Because he usually shits on, like, the Drachenlord and all these Big Lenny and a lot of the internet crazies that there are, Del Rey Misfits and stuff. But he did Bob Lazar, and it's basically stuff that I want to say, but I have no talent. Like, I don't have the talent to, like, put together a video and, like, prove it.
Did he basically rip him a new one, but basically call him a liar, or did he actually...
He called him pretty much a liar.
I have some issues, and like I said, I just watched a documentary today, and I actually watched an interview with him and the movie maker, Jeremy, that's his name, I can't remember his last name, and they did an interview on Larry King at the beginning of the year, and but I watched that before, and I watched the actual documentary today, and they're like, lots of weird stuff. He got raided twice by the FBI in the time I was making this movie. Like, all right, well, I guess it makes sense. But they're like, there's a scene where they show him go out to the woods in a remote area of Lazar's homestead. I don't know what you want to call it, where he lives, which is here in Michigan, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives here now. But they went out and they're having a conversation, and Bob wasn't sure if he wanted to record part of this thing. He's like, "Here's what I'll do. I'm going to record it with this," and he had like a Zoom recorder, and then he had the video, and he's like, "We'll do two separate things, and if you don't want to use it, we won't use it. We'll lock it away in the vault. We won't ever use it." And then they had a conversation, and then they're like, when the FBI raided the place the next day, they directly talked about the conversation we had, like they were monitoring us through our phones. But there was no proof that happened. They just said it happened.
Yeah, no, him saying it happened matters.
Yeah, it happened. They directly quoted something that we talked about in private the day before.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But they offered up no proof. Now, the FBI did raid him twice, his place in Michigan, because he has a store in Michigan, too. They said they were looking...
I don't believe that. I mean, I don't doubt that, rather.
Well, they said they raided him, though, because of receipts from a former customer. They were trying to find this former customer who did some legal stuff. But according to him, there was 58 agents there from different organizations, different agencies. Again, though, there's no proof there was that many. It's not on camera. There is a report that showed that, because they have to, talk with local authorities. He did get raided. It was true.
Again, I'm going off of completely invalid evidence, which is just my own gut. And that is the Art Bell interview with him. Now, those of you guys, look up Dank Net, Bob Lazar first. That was what I was talking about before. Or the Art Bell Bob Lazar. The Art Bell Bob Lazar, Art's playing along, or Art never corrected anybody. He was trying to put together a paranormal show, so he just let you say your piece. His job wasn't to debunk you, just have you on, say what you got to say. Then he would ask questions and try to kind of fish through whether he thought you were full of shit or not, but he didn't. He wasn't there to really debunk you. Just say your piece. You can do you can look at the video where he's being grilled by Dank Net, or a guy that was more just kind of letting him do his own thing, and he looks horrible in both.
Yeah.
The guy that made the Netflix one that everyone's talking about is a UFO believer.
Yeah, he's already going in there believing.
Yeah, so he's going in. He wants to prove.
And he's a protege of the guy who did the original one back in 1989. He said that he's the guy who mentored him through the industry and helped him learn all this stuff. So he's always had a fascination with his story. So you're going in believing everything this guy's saying already. That's.
I remember when I used to bring up all this paranormal stuff because I used to be into all of it. And my dad didn't judge me either way, but he had his own beliefs. He's like, he'd be like, Mike, you're gonna believe in all this horse shit. Why don't you just give your soul to Jesus and just shut up?
That's true though.
He goes, it's just easier. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I never did that either.
Didn't do that either. No.